I know I said I wasn't going to make any videos while I was out here, but I guess I lied. I'm right by the lake. Just going to make a quick video about something that I was just talking about. Like, I forgot I had these Bluetooth things at my parents' house. What I was talking about with somebody in an email is maybe different people need different macronutrient ratios. And what I'm saying about that is, like, there's like the ectomorph, the mesomorph, the endomorph, and endo and mesomorph tend to have more in common than the ectomorph. Now, this is just completely out there, but like ectomorphs tend to have more of a endurance type body build and abilities. And maybe they need more fat. Whereas like the endomorph and the mesomorph, they tend to have more explosive strength and much shorter endurance, but have a lot more power to them. You know, like just a lot more power to them, a lot more musculature, a lot bigger boned structures. And maybe they run off carbohydrates. So the people who are having issues on the sugar diet, maybe I don't know. I don't know where to go from there, but it seems to make sense to me that if you have more power output, that you would need more carbohydrates. But if you were doing more endurance, you could handle a mixture a little bit easier. Now, I don't know for sure. I don't really, I have no basis behind this, but my explosive strength and my ability to lift is way more than somebody who is much more of a slender build. And so somebody who's like a durian rider style might actually handle fat better than somebody who is like me, who derives most of his energy from carbohydrates. It's possible. I don't know. I know some of the body likes to run off ketones, and I think a lot of us have a broken process with that. Like we don't make ketones like we used to. I'm just using the cell phone here. I don't know what I'm trying to say with this video, and I don't think I'm going to make a long video about this because I don't have like any basis on this, but I'm starting to wonder if that's the issue that some of us deal with. I don't know. This is just me saying, like, maybe this is why the sugar diet works so good for certain people, like especially bigger people or more muscular people, like that Mark Smelly Bell. Maybe it works so good for him because he's muscular. He has explosive strength. Like for somebody like me, I have explosive strength. I have a lot of power behind me. And I have some endurance on the bike, but not a ton. Not comparatively to others. I can explosively get up a hill. I can sprint up a hill on a bike. I can sprint up a hill even running. But I'm never going to run a marathon in this body style. Like some of the, like the Armstrong, he's a great cyclist, but when he went to run a marathon, it wasn't working for him, and he's a little bit more of a muscular dude. I know this video is kind of all over the place, but it kind of makes sense to me, a little bit, that different body styles might have different fuels that they run off and should eat. But the other thing is people who tend to be my body style tend to want to eat fattier foods. So you have to get away from that, maybe. I don't know. This is just a thought process that I've been going through lately. Something I've really been thinking about, because a lot of things don't make sense anymore about why certain things work, certain things don't work for different people as far as diet goes, but maybe that has some kind of explanation behind it. Like somebody who's really strong and powerful would definitely want more carbs in their diet, and when they eat more fats, even though they crave them, the body just doesn't utilize them as good and doesn't turn them into ketones as good as somebody who is not of that body style, somebody who's more slender, somebody who has great endurance and can run, you know, like a marathon or something like that. I don't know. It's very early stages of this thought, but I did want to make a video about it because I was going to get out in the sun and just, I don't know. It's just an early thought. I don't know what you guys might think about that. Maybe that's why the sugar fasting, sugar diet works so good for people who are overweight, because we don't really metabolize fat all that well. We don't oxidize it all that well. It doesn't mix all that well with carbohydrates. And whereas somebody who back in the day was maybe this body style, but was never overweight, you know, things might go better for them. I don't know. You know, I'm sure it has something to do with seed oils. I'm sure it has something to do with just the toxic food that we're eating now, but it might also have something to do with what I just talked about, where more, you know, the bigger you are, the more muscular you are, the more of a bigger build that you have, you probably run better off of carbohydrates than fat, even though you might crave the fat more, but you just don't have the ability to oxidize it as well as somebody who is skinny and more ectomorph type body. I don't know. That's just my thoughts on it as of right now. Whether it's right or not, I have no idea. I've never heard anybody talk about that. I've heard people talk about like the blood type and stuff, but I've never heard anybody talk about, you know, the idea that maybe your actual physical makeup might actually have more to do with it than anything. But it does make sense to me. It does make sense to me. But I don't know that we need to rock bottom our fat as much as some of these guys are talking about. I really don't. I really don't. Because when I have it rock bottom, like, I can just eat 24 hours a day. I don't know. I guess tell me what you think about it down below. That's my video. There's the lake. That might be something to really think about, though. And everybody's going to be like, oh, you're just making excuses and why you're blah, 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 blah. I never said I was not going to do the sugar diet. I'm just trying to figure out what exactly I need to do to get myself to eat. Because, again, yesterday, I only had 1,200 calories the entire day. Like, I can't keep up with that. But when I add fat, I'll finally eat. I don't know. I'm trying to make sense of all of it in a world that doesn't make sense. Anyway, peace.